Okay, so today we're going to be doing a UR tier list video for My Hero Academia Ultra Impact for August 2021. It's been about over 2 months now since my last UR tier list video on this game, and since then, of course, we've gotten some new URs to rank. I do recommend you guys checking out the previous tier list video. I'll link that in the description, especially if you're a newer player, as that is based on the beginning parts of the game. This UR tier list is based on the end game content, so it will be ranking them based on how well they do on VE Tower as well as the USJ stage level 4. So before we begin ranking them, make sure you leave a like on today's video. Our goal for today's video is 100 likes. If you guys can reach over 100 likes, I will do more tier list videos on this game. And leave down in the comment section down below what tier list videos that you want to see from this game, and the ones with the most likes I will do in the near future. But with that said, let's start ranking them. I'm just going to give you a brief explanation of each character. I'm not going to go into the details of everything they do, just to make this video as short as possible. But if you want to check out all of, their abilities, all of it translated, I'll leave the website that Hydra's created that will provide you with all the information of each character here. And more, of course. Obviously, there are SR characters and rare characters. So with that said, we're just going to go from the top left all the way to the bottom right. No particular order. And yeah, we've got 5 ranks here: S, A, B, C, and D. S being the best, D being the worst here. And because we've got so many new URs, we should be seeing some D tier characters. And it doesn't mean they're bad in the game. It just means compared to the other URs, they suck. But still decent, okay? Alright, so we're going to start off with Yellow Aizawa here. I think he is an S rank unit here. Pro heroes have obviously gotten a buff since these 2 months have occurred. And him being a pro hero support makes him a viable unit to bring in your main team here. Of course, he also has the seal ability, which is very, very helpful with VE Tower. It's going to get you extra points. And he can remove buffs from the enemy, which can help you survive a little bit longer. For the most part, he is an S rank character. I might move him later to A, depending on how many S rank characters we do have. But for now, I think he is a solid SA character. Then we have the green Todoroki. He's aged well with his burn and freeze ability. That's going to give you 2 ways to apply abnormal conditions. So that is really good. He can get plus ultras really quickly. So he can debuff the enemy really, really nicely. And so he has been a very great unit since the very beginning. Then we have Shigaraki. I think I will put him in A. He's definitely not the best character. It's just because he's restricted to his abilities only working on against heroes, pro heroes specifically. Of course, you're not always versing pro heroes. He's nice in USJ, especially versus the, I think it's All Might, which is the yellow boss, and being type advantage, he does a lot of damage, especially in the first half of the battle as he gets his best buffs when over 50% HP. And of course, he's a villain support. It's just that in VE Tower, it can be a little bit awkward as you're not always versing a pro hero. I think it's like 3 stages where you verse pro heroes out of the 9 VE Tower stages that there are right now. So I'll be putting him at 8 for the time being. But of course, he might be upgraded in the future. As a support, he should age very, very well. Then we have the yellow All Might that you can purchase from the VE Tower store. I think he's a B tier character. It's not really much about damage anymore in My Hero Academia Ultra Impact. I figured out that really it comes to debuffs and buffs for your teams rather than damage. It's just because how VE Tower works. You don't really want to do too much damage to the enemy, but you still want a decent amount of damage, of course. So All Might being just purely damage makes him lose a little bit more value compared to the above characters, but he's still a very good damage dealer and really good for USJ. Of course, USJ is the only stage where you want maximum damage output, and for being such a short little stage that you have to do, him losing, his attack, I think it's a power and speed, it doesn't matter too much at the end of the day. He's really, really powerful at the beginning. And of course, being a pro hero means that he fits well with the other units, such as Aizawa. Then we have Hawks. I think Hawks is a pretty low average character. Other than the story mode, ever since then, I really haven't used him too much. He sucks in VE Tower. I will say I did use him in the USJ just for the free dodge, and he can be a really strong unit. but I think he's going to age very poorly as the time goes on, as the dodge mechanic is not renewable. So when it comes to the longer battles, he can struggle just a little bit, but he has his place for beginner players for sure, and he can be a pretty cool unit to bring as a friend. Then we have the Red Deku. Funny enough, he's one of the better Dekus, so I think he is a C tier character. In the right positions, he can actually be a B tier character. You know, I'll put him in B, just because he is one of the strongest characters in the game, and his kit allows him to get that maximum damage output really, really quickly. So if you know that you want to deal maximum damage in like 2 turns, you can probably do that with a maxed out Red Deku. And being red, he's actually in one of the better teams of this game, so actually a very solid DPS unit. He can struggle just a little bit if you don't have the right team. I recommend having Red Kirishima with you, or else he can die very, very quickly. So sometimes he can be C, sometimes he can be B, okay? Then we have Yellow Deku, definitely the first D tier character that we are ranking. It's kind of like Red Deku. He hurts himself, has decent damage output. It's just that he doesn't get benefits for losing HP compared to Red Deku, so he can be a very poor unit to have, one of the poorest units to have. The Faith typing is pretty fulled up, so it is very hard to be placing him in the main team unless like the bonus effect is having him on your team. Most of the Faith characters are pro heroes, such as the Aizawa that we've already put in S rank and the All Might, so he doesn't really get supported in his own colored team, so he can be a little awkward to use. Moving on, we have Air Force Deku, another S rank character, probably one of the best ones actually. He applies himself with his own dodge, making him survive really nicely for long battles, especially if he gets targeted. He gives himself some nice boosts. He's a good damage dealer throughout the whole entire battle. Very, very solid unit, and in one of the best typing teams in the game, being blue. And that goes the same with the blue Bakugo, but I still think he's a little bit better than the Air Force Deku. Just because he can apply abnormal conditions compared to the Deku. So this guy can blind and burn, which is very helpful in VE Tower, especially for damage output, as well as getting points from the VE Tower results. Not only that, he gets stronger as the time goes by, and of course he can lower the enemy's defense, which means your other units are also getting a little bit of a power boost just from having him on the team. So a very, very strong unit for sure. Wow, we just have all the S rank characters back to back. I'm also going to be putting the Red Kirishima in the S rank. I actually think he's one of the best supports in the game now. With the recent buffs to Reds, he's definitely been one of the more useful ones now. His taunt ability helps you survive in VE Tower. The counters, extra DPS. Taunt and counter together is such an OP thing. And then his plus ultra gives you an invincibility, which is amazing, making you just last for a very long time. And being a support unit, that is also very good. His team synergy is just really, really good. Then we have Momo here. I actually will put her in the A tier. She is definitely supporting the better team here, being the blue category. It's just that her kit herself is not the best. Heals are great, it's just not that useful anymore. With the new EX skills, you can actually get heals from there. So heals are just a little bit less important, and her kit doesn't really help out too much for VE Tower. Other than getting more plus ultras, as she's a plus ultra battery. She's very helpful in USJ though, so she still keeps that high ranking. And then I also put a Chaco in the A tier as well. I think as an individual character, she's actually better than Momo. It's just that her team around her is not as good as Momo. So that's why I believe that she should be ranked under Momo, because, of course, what is a support without a good team, right? But her kit is amazing, applying dodge with her abilities, heals, crit rate bonus, and she can counter, making her survive quite well. A very, very solid unit, and I can see in the future if they release more good green units, then she will definitely rank in the future better than Momo, and possibly as an S rank for sure. Then we're gonna have All For One in the A tier. Just maybe right here. It's a mix. They're like almost equal the same, to be honest, with the Momo and like I should probably put it in the middle. Forget. Villains is a really good team. He is a villain crit support, which crits are actually very, very helpful in VE Tower. So if you need a lot of crits, you need 20 crits in total to get max points, and he's just going to help you out. He does do a decent damage when you drop underneath 50% HP, which is great, and in USJ, he can be a very strong unit. His kit allows him to refresh his abilities nice and fast, which gives you more opportunities to skill chain, and of course, skill chains apply, giving you a plus ultra gauge increase, which then helps you do more plus ultras. So his kit is really good, and unlike Shigaraki, he does apply a debuff to all enemies, even villains, so he's not restricted to just versing pro heroes. It's just that Shigaraki, in the right circumstances, is definitely better than the All For One. Then we have the new World Heroes mission, Purple Deku. I think he is definitely one of the worst characters in the game. He's just a DPS, right? But you need to verse villains, which can be an issue because there is, being a destruction type, there is actually no villains that is Faith for the most part, other than I think it's Overhaul from the story mode. So I mean that stage is pretty easy now, so you don't really need that extra help, other than the fact that he doesn't lose HP when he does damage, and he gets plus ultra gauge pretty nice and fast. That's just why I ranked him higher than the yellow Deku. And of course, this awkward typing, he doesn't really get any supports, because the only supports that are in the destruction type is Shigaraki and All For One, and they're only League of Villains supports. So as a DPS without any supports, it's not that good. And that goes for the same as this Purple Winter Bakugo, but he has other options, so I'm going to be placing him into the high C tier. He's able to blind, he's able to lower defense, which means he is kind of like a support DPS. He can lower defense twice really, really quickly, which allows your other DPS units to be really strong. If you just chucked him into a random team, like with the Yellow All Might, and you lower defense twice, Yellow All Might should do like almost near max damage. And that's the only reason why Bakugo is in the C tier. In terms of VE Tower, he's not really that useful. He can serve you with some extra points, but it's not like optimal points. That's just about it. Red Bakugo, this is the only UR character I don't have in the game, so I'm sorry if I rank him poorly, but just from paper, I put him in the B tier. He's just another DPS with burn mechanics, so he's a bit better than the Winter Bakugo, because I think Abnormal Conditions is a bit better than lowering defense, in my opinion. It just serves better for VE Tower, and being the red typing, you actually get supported really nicely, so if you don't have like Red Deku, then this guy is pretty good as a substitute, just not as strong as Red Deku. And he also loses a little bit extra points as he doesn't have the eye masks. Then we have the UR Todoroki. I think he is on the breach of S tier, but I'm going to be putting him on A. The only reason why he is not A is because he is not useful in USJ. USJ stages, especially when versing Present Mic, you can't burn Present Mic, I believe. So him being a strictly and only burner means that he's very useless on USJ, and most of his damage output is based on burning. Like, his abilities itself don't do that much damage, so I'm going to be putting him in the A tier. And being a Faith character, he actually doesn't get that much support, because the supports is only pro heroes, being the Aizawa. But the reason why he's like as high as A is just because he's so consistent with the burns. High chance to burn is super, super awesome. One of the highest chances to burn in the game, so he is definitely deserving of the A tier. Then I'm going to be putting the new World Heroes mission, Todoroki, in the S tier as well. I think he's a little bit better than the yellow one. He does have the freeze and the burn, which is really good. He's more of a freezer than a burner, and freeze is just more of a reliable ability compared to burn. Although you don't get as much DPS compared to the burn, green Todoroki doesn't barely burn anyway, same as this blue Todoroki, and blue is better than green. Maths makes sense, so in terms of ranking, this guy is better than the green one. And he also has the ability to constraint as well. And he can be a decent DPS if you have a pro hero unit on the team as well. Just that's the reason why he's a little bit better than the green. He's a bit stronger, and he has more mechanics to stall the enemy. The third last unit that we are going to be ranking is Green Shinsor. I think he is the lower B unit. I thought he was really good when he first released. I think I was just blinded at the fact that I didn't have that many green units. But after using him, I haven't seen like the results from him. Like his paper as a debuffer, it sounds really good, right? He can seal, he can constrain, and he can debuff. It's just that in VE Tower, he doesn't really get that many points for me personally, but he can actually be very useful. But in USJ, he was really great, so I'll put him in B. He's an iffy character, to be honest. Then the second last character is the Prominence Burn Endeavor, Red Endeavor, UR. I think he is, again, I think for the same reasons as why Yellow Todoroki is here. It's the same reason why Red Endeavor's here. He's a little bit less reliable compared to Yellow Todoroki in terms of burning, but he makes up for it for the little bit more consistent damage. And he has Grits, which is also good. And being in the red typing, he is very, very nice compared to being in the yellow typing. And of course, he has not only the red support, but the pro hero support. So he fits in more teams as well. It's just that doesn't really matter too much because I only run mono teams for the most part, unless it's VE Tower and like I'm trying to get like maximum points. So I do rank Yellow Todoroki just a little bit more than the Red Endeavor, but they're almost pretty much equal. And then the last unit is the UR Toga. I'm going to be putting her in high B for now, okay? I think she has the potential of being an A tier. I think Bleed is a very good mechanic. It's just that, again, Bleed doesn't really apply in USJ. Bleed is definitely more DPS than Burn, as each move that the opponent does, they lose 5%. So if they do an action skill and a normal attack, it means that they take 10% damage, which is really good. It can be weird because you don't want to do too much DPS on VE Tower because you want to have a little bit more time to do a lot of the point requirements. But if you're looking at strictly power, she can be really strong. She's very consistent with her plus ultras, which means she's very consistent with her bleed. She just plus ultras really, really fast because her kit allows her to gain that plus ultra gauge really, really quickly. And being blue, she's in the best typing. And being a villain, she also has that secondary team to be on. So she isn't lacking in terms of the support. And she double hits as well, which is awesome, meaning that you can have more damage output. But with that said, I think that is going to wrap up my UR tier list here. I think I'm pretty happy with this for the time being. So this is August 2021 UR tier list for My Hero Academia Ultra Impact. If you're a newer player, make sure you check out my beginning tier list. But I do recommend, if you want long-term success, reroll for the blue Bakugo as well as the green Todoroki. These two is going to get you really far in the game. You don't really need a reroll for Momo anymore. I don't think it's important as getting green Todoroki. That's just my opinion. But with that said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel with the notification bell on so you don't miss out on the daily content. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, stay fizzy. Peace out.